To get you started with Unity, so I'm going to start by creating a new 3D project. Location, it has to be a drive, it can't be like a network location, so you might need to choose your H drive rather than your / internal.pakuranga or whatever. I just happen to have got a folder here. I might just make a new folder for it called intro, go into there and select folder and create project, which it will take a minute or two to do. Unity is pretty powerful. Look at all these games which have been made with Unity. Some pretty big ones in there. So anyway, this is the sort of default layout. A lot of people change it. I'm not going to bother. One of the important things that you need to do is, firstly, before you do anything else, click on Inspector. There's nothing there at the moment because we haven't clicked anything over here, but we will need to. So what we can see is the scene where we're going to be putting in our everything, the game stuff, and this is kind of the browser of the things that are actually currently in the scene, which isn't a lot. There's some light and there's a camera, so we can see things that are going on. So I'm just going to right click here and say create a 3D object. In this case it's going to be a terrain, which is just like ground. I could do a plane, that would be the same, but a terrain gives you some further options which could be useful later. So I'm going to drop a terrain in there. Unfortunately, the terrain isn't in quite the right place. It puts one corner at the 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 of the world, which isn't where we want because that's where we start. And very often the first thing we'll do is just fall off, which is annoying. So because I've got the terrain selected over here, I've got the inspector showing me all the stuff about the terrain. And I'm just going to change its coordinates a little bit. I'm going to change the x coordinate to be -100. I know this from just trying to practice before. And the z coordinate to be -100. The y coordinate will leave as 0 because, you know, 0. So that's pretty cool. That we've got some ground now. And what I can do is I can play my game. I can hit the play button and wait a moment. I can see nothing because nothing's happening. I've just got a horizon. I've got no control or anything. So hit the play button again, back to where we were. And I'm going to drop another object in. Let's pick an object. How about a sphere? It has put a sphere in there, which we can't see very well, but if I just drag it around using these drag handles, you can see what we can do. And now because I've got the sphere selected in the inspector, I can change some things. I could make it a bit more elliptical maybe. I could make the X big, but not the Y. Let's make everything big on it, shall we? Nice, I like it. So I've got a nice big sphere, which can I see if I put it in a position where I can actually see it in the game? Yes, there it is, look. Still a pretty useless game though. So the main thing that we need to do to make it a useful game is actually have some kind of controlled object that we're in charge of. So the best way to do that is to go to the assets and import a package. And we're going to import some characters. So there'll be a first-person player character and also a third-person player character there. So import Unity package is just the standard stuff that's available. You know what? Let's just grab the whole lot. I mean, you can select just the things you need, but quite often you end up selecting stuff that actually, thinking that there's stuff that you don't want, and actually you do want it, and blah blah. So it's just easier to say, yeah, a whole lot, all goods. Hopefully, it won't bloat out your project to such an extent that it fills up your whole folder, and then you have to go see the technician and say, give me more space, and they say no, and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I'll just wait while it does this. I'm going to go with the first person in this case. You might get a chance to look at third person as well if you're interested. So while we're here, just look, there's these other things down the bottom here. Project, this is kind of the stuff that is in your overall project. This window here is the stuff which is in your current scene. Of course, you can have different scenes for different areas of your game, different modes of your game or whatever. So if I drop into standard assets and go to characters and first person character, prefabs, a prefabricated object, something that has been made already. Someone very clever has made a first-person shooter controller. First-person shooter, I guess it is, FPS controller. All I'm going to do is just drag that into this area over here. I could just easily drag that over here, but if I drag it here, it puts it at 0, 0, 0, which I quite like. And I don't have to do anything else. I've now got an FPS thing where I can see my and WASD, and I can move around and I can walk into the sphere. and bounce off it, and wow, I've got a game. So cool. I hit the escape button to get out of the FPS mode and play to get back to here. So I can drag my FPS around if I want to. So that's really cool. I've now got a kind of game. That's the key stuff I wanted in place to restart. What other things do we want to do? Oh yeah, the sphere. I thought we might just change a couple of aspects of the sphere because we've got these things already. The transform is its position, and there's some meshes, and there's a collider which we'll come to later as well. We could make it bouncy. Should we do that? Let's make it bouncy, shall we? I'm going to choose a physic material, which is the bouncy one. And let's just see what effect that has on the game. Yeah, I think I need to also make it kinematic. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to do that now. Let's not make it bounce. Leave that. I need to actually add a different component to make it have a bit of gravity and so on. So there's a lot of detail to learn in Unity, but there are things like if I add a rigid body here, that actually now makes it have gravity. I now remember. So yeah, it's got gravity and it's got bounce. It's pretty cool. I'm also going to change its color. I'm going to add another component, which is going to be a material. Actually, no way. I should make a material, shouldn't I? I'm going to create a material, and material in this case is we're basically just going to use it to make a color. So I'm going to say blue material and pick a nice blue color. I'll do. And I'm just going to drag that blue material onto my sphere. My sphere is now blue. Quite handy. So I've got a large blue bouncing ball, and because it's now got that physics on it, I can actually interact with it. So I can bounce, I can push it around and do stuff. You know what? We'll watch that head into the distance and call it done for now.